Hey friends, this is maybe my favorite backdrop that I ever get to do video posts in front of. This is Crystal Lake. I am on a boat, as Lonely Island says. I We arrived yesterday. I did my last post from here, so if you saw my post yesterday, you know I'm here. But today was our first full day, and it's been a day of kind of settling, landing, getting my feet under me, and but something kind of showed up for me today that is not strictly to do with being here, but definitely related, and I'm certainly having the headspace to think about it because I'm here, and that is, it's something I was thinking about with regard to my daughter, um, and I suppose in some ways in a way that I'm feeling a sort of like a line to my daughter, but then also a line to my own parents. So sort of like generations in both directions. And what came to me was that joy, the experience of joy, which in a place like this is easy to access. But aside, environment aside and circumstances aside, there's something about joy that feels as though it's almost like a generational inheritance. In other words, like the way my parents experienced life when they were living their lives as I was my early years were happening and I was kind of being formed, their joy infused me, and it taught me this is what life feels like. It taught me this is how a day looks. This is how reality looks. And I have been, I've become increasingly grateful for that and increasingly aware of that as something that happens. And I think, when you have your own kids, you tend to sort of you want to get everything right, right? Like I want to I want my daughter to feel joy around her. I want my daughter to see the world through the lens of joy most of the time, right? And obviously, nobody's aiming for perfect. You're not going to bat 1,000 on this. And even more important than joy, I would say, is being real to ourselves, being genuine, being able to feel all the emotions that come up. In fact, if you want a movie about the effect of, I had somebody call this toxic positivity. A student of mine called it toxic. She said that Inside Out, the first one, is a really good look at how at like toxic positivity. And I was like, oh, I've never used that phrase, but that makes a lot of sense. And if you've seen Inside Out, you know what I'm talking about. But be that as it may, there's a character named Joy. She lives in the head of a little girl, and she generally thinks that she's the one who should be controlling things all the time, and that the child should be experiencing joy, that the person should, as she grows up, should be experiencing joy all the time. And over the course of now 2 movies, Inside Out 2 just came out. It's great. You should see it. I didn't know I would be plugging a film. That's apparently what I'm doing on this post. Couple of films, but but so I got derailed by the Inside Out thing. But joy as a lens, joy as an experience. I can I can see and I can recall how that was imprinted on me, how that was sort of made my the background of my reality by the people who imprinted me, my parents, and of course, they attracted people into their orbit that resonated with them, and so I've got those. I have a whole host of amazing people to thank for teaching me the full the full experience of joy. But I had never thought in a way, as I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about it. It's almost like joy is a skill set, because it's a particular way of ingesting experience. And I love to think about um, I love to think about joy in the context of spiritual practice and inner work as well. I had a teacher when I was doing a program on, it was an acting program, but it was really closely linked to meditation work and just a kind of developing an understanding of how the mind works and how the consciousness that holds the mind is part of that, and how you can kind of move between them and use them in a creative way. Um, and he introduced me to the idea in Advaita Vedanta, of bliss, of ananda, which he called causeless joy. This is joy that is one of the sheaths of conscious experience. It's something that is pre almost it's not that it's pre-conscious, because it but it coexists with the experience of consciousness. It is the way consciousness comes into actuality in the Advaita tradition. And that can be taught too. That can be taught as well. And that's one where I think, and the way that it's taught is simply by living it. You live it, you connect with it, it informs and infuses your experience, and then it immediately radiates out. And especially from someone who's looking to you for signals, looking to you for how should I respond in this moment? How should I feel in this moment? What am I supposed to do with this experience? It becomes part of that imprinting, part of that inherent sort of teaching someone what the world is like and what life is about. And I don't even remember what how I got down this rabbit hole today on this particular train of thought, but I definitely sort of started to think about, well, this is something that I want to be really cognizant of, because as soon as we know that we are imprinting someone with our every experience, we just start to pay a little closer attention. It starts to be a little bit, we start to have a sense of even my own inner life and even my own thought responses to various circumstances and events. All of that is something that I am transmitting. So I'm not in a bubble having those experiences. I'm not in a bubble making the choice about what to feel. I have autonomy. I've got control of my own mind. I have the choice in my own mind, but it's not. But I have a responsibility to something way beyond myself, with all of those choices. And I think one of the beautiful things that kids do is teach us that in a really concrete, really direct. They put the mirror right up in front of us, right? If the whole world is a mirror and we can see these truths anywhere in the world, kids just move the mirror a little closer, and they make sure we can see it, and they make sure that when we're not looking at it, that we pay attention to it. They give us that reflection in a kind of really consistent way. And they, in at least in this, in my case, in this case, you know, in the case of what came up for me today, they give me, it gives me a sense of wanting to be, just be even more conscious, be conscious of how I interpret reality, be reminded that my own posture towards the world is being communicated, and that joy, especially a kind of inherent joy, a causeless joy, that I don't have to get anything or nothing has to happen for me to feel it. It's just there. That is one of the deepest things we can transmit. One of the most valuable things we can nurture someone into. We can usher someone into. So that's what showed up for me today. And it's nice to be in a place that brings that out pretty easily. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate you. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.